Okay, so it seems that we have a little bit of an update on the Cinder stuff and also a couple of other things I wanted to go through, which I thought was very interesting. Now, obviously, the last time we talked about Cinder, we talked about some impersonating accounts, which were essentially going ahead and pretending to be her, or at the very least, profiting off of her popularity and overall clicks and things like that. And people were making accounts that were kind of based off of Cinder and asking them to send them money for, certain photos in return. And it's been a pretty bad kind of time. Now, thankfully, a lot of people, including the Pyropup Center and a lot of the people involved with that, have actually gone ahead and reported a lot of these accounts and managed to get them taken down, which is really good to see, as obviously, as bad as whatever Cinder did, what we talked about in my past videos, I feel like it is too far to start impersonating things and things like that. There is a certain point whenever it comes to holding someone accountable. You can hold them accountable for their actions and things like that, but whenever it goes to just straight up attacking them and straight up pretending to be them or doing something malicious behind the scenes that can affect them very heavily, I do think that is not great at all, and I feel like, that shouldn't go ahead, and that shouldn't happen at all, like in any way, shape or form, especially whenever these people are like profiting off of it, and like they're profiting off of sad fans and things like that, which I think isn't great at all. But essentially, yeah, this was the tweet that came out, and obviously I'm gonna have to censor the picture that is right there, but obviously they say, Pyropups, it's come to my attention that there's a Twitter profile impersonating Cinder with the purpose of scamming people and getting gifts. I do not have enough words to express how awful this kind of behavior is. I ask you to please go and report this account so no Pyropup gets scanned by this imposter, which, yeah, obviously people were not happy with, and they did go ahead and actually report this. I don't think this account is still up, so again, that is really, really good to see. But essentially what has happened as well, other VTubers have also been caught in the kind of mix of this, of impersonating accounts on different platforms, and obviously one of them is Sayu. If you don't know Sayu, he is a big voice actor, also known as Alejandro Sub, and he is a VTuber who, yeah, does some stuff over on Twitch and things, and it seems like some people are making false accounts of him over on Discord. Essentially, this one saying, Sayu VTuber, sent you a friend request, and obviously they've just put a underscore there at the end, and you can see that they are trying to kind of impersonate them. They're saying, my name is Sayu, stuff like that, which I think is crazy. And obviously they even put their Twitch link down there to kind of, verify that it's them. And obviously a lot of people will actually fall for this. And obviously Sayu said, apparently someone's impersonating me on Discord, please be careful of that. And yeah, definitely do be careful whenever it comes to this kind of stuff. I mean, if I think it is pretty important to just expect that, hey, your favorite VTuber probably isn't going to randomly send you a friend request out of the blue unless you've had some prior interaction or something like that. So definitely be careful whenever it comes to this. Obviously, this person said, what a morning to wake up to. I cannot believe these Sayu sent me a friend request on Discord, and his account is only 4 months old, and he's the only one Discord server. Watch out, people, scammers everywhere. And obviously people said, just like how Guru sent me a friend request, said, don't forget me when you're famous. Happens way too often. Think I've had about 3 different accounts try this. Look at him go, already forgetting about us. Ooh, famous. People are just making fun of this, essentially. So thankfully, this person actually knows about, the different scams and stuff that goes on. And, it can happen quite a bit. It happens on Discord very, very often, with a lot of people actually, trying to make like fake accounts where they're essentially saying, oh, I can commission some art and stuff like that. And they end up, taking your money, which can also be a big issue too. But it seems that they're now going into the VTuber territory where they're pretending to be the VTubers themselves, which is terrible for both Sayu and both for Cinder as well. But going on to some more Cinder stuff, we've actually got to talk about something that's recently happened, is the fact of the chat for the Cinder Discord has actually opened back up. Now, I've talked about this before with, the main moderator, Eichmann, actually going ahead and opening up a lot of the, chats and things. But these were only temporary. These were only opened up for a couple of hours and people were allowed to talk, and then they locked it again. But it seems like the main chat for the Hellhole chat has actually been fully unlocked now. This person as well saying Discord is active again and chats have been unlocked, which again, it seems like they are slowly phasing in a lot of the other chats as well. I'm not sure if they fully phased in all of the chats yet, but it seems like definitely the general chat is now permanently open. They aren't doing this 1 hour, 2 hour thing, which honestly I think is actually a pretty good thing. You'd expect me to be like, oh, this is terrible, this means she might come back. No, that's not the case at all. I don't think Cinder is going to come back anytime soon, but I do think that with the moderators announcement, obviously the moderators themselves say, there's been no news, they haven't really had any contact or anything. But in terms of chat and just getting people to interact with each other again, I think it's actually pretty good. As as I said in previous videos, they've built up this community where they've gotten so used to talking to each other, where they've gotten so used to having a chat and just talking and having a shared interest, obviously in Cinder, but now obviously, you know, it's just been taken away from them like out of the blue due to all of the drama and stuff that's happened. So I think it is a good idea to open it back up, to let them talk with each other again, and also have this moderated space where this can happen, because obviously, as we know, whenever it becomes unmoderated, it can become a big issue. You know, people make separate servers where they talk about this, it's unmoderated, and it can turn into even more like the situation we saw with the doxing of Shy Lily. Whereas if you have people kind of enclosed in the chat of Sinder's hellhole again, and you know, they can speak there with the moderators, watching what they've been posting and saying and things like that, and kind of avoiding these conversations in the first place, I think it actually works out much better for people, regardless of what you think of Sinder, you know. And also, there's probably a lot of people in these chats as well that probably think that Sinder, you know, they don't really agree with a lot of the stuff that she's done. And there's probably some people in there that do agree with a lot of the stuff that she's done. And I think that, honestly, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And I think that having a chat and a shared space to, you know, kind of share this kind of stuff is great. But like, also at the same time, I think me personally, and, you know, there's probably a lot of people that also agree, holding her accountable to a lot of the stuff that she's done, obviously is a very important thing as well, you know. And I think that shouldn't just, like, you know, this chat becoming unlocked and things shouldn't just be the gateway to just bringing her back and be like, oh, hey guys, it's fine, because people just kind of forgotten about it. I know it's been, you know, what, 3-4 months now. That's what it feels like, at least to me. You know, it's been so long now. You know, just because there's a time, you know, time has gone past, doesn't mean there's like an expiry date on the amount that, you know, people need to be held accountable. She still did a terrible apology and still, you know, hasn't been the best. But I do think that, you know, people might become a little bit more sympathetic whenever it comes to, you know, people talking a lot more and things like that, which I don't want to happen. I don't want people just to forget what has exactly happened with Sinder. And if you guys don't remember what happened, you guys can go back and watch my videos and, you know, see exactly the things that has been kind of uncovered. But I do think it is a good, overall good and positive thing that, you know, the fans can chat with each other once again, especially after they built up such this connection. And finally, this one was just a little bit of a silly kind of post I just wanted to talk about. Well, someone actually sold their Sinder car, which I don't know if this was around the time that this stuff had gone on. They're like, oh damn, time to sell the car, because they got it wrapped. But yeah, it's a Toyota Supra, and it's got a Sinder wrap on it, which I thought was kind of funny. Honestly, it looks kind of sick, to be fair. But again, you know, I don't know if they sold that around the time of the kind of drama going on, or if they decided just to sell that anyways because they needed the money or something like that. But again, I thought it was very funny to see it up there. And obviously, it says the price is valid until June 04, which makes me think it was put up recently. So maybe that actually was the reason that this car was sold, was due to the Sinder drama and things like that. And it seems like, you know, obviously, we've seen tons of people throwing away their merch, you know, destroying their merch, donating their merch, giving away their merch, selling their merch, whatever. You know, we see a lot of people doing that, and now people are gone one step further and are selling their cars, which are Sinder based. Now, obviously, you could just get it unwrapped and just, you know, kind of have it a normal color. But again, I feel like, you know, maybe someone out there would want it. So, hey, if you're a Sinder fan watching this video, you probably aren't if you see my videos, but, you know, maybe there are some still out there who still believe that, you know, I have a little bit of sympathy for you guys. You know, maybe you want to buy this, you know, I don't know exactly where it is, but it's out there somewhere, and you're able to buy a Sinder car, which someone does not want at the moment. But yeah, that's pretty much all of the news that we have at the moment. I thought this was just a pretty crazy situation in general, obviously with the kind of, you know, impersonations of Sinder over on Twitter, as well as the impersonations of other VTubers and things like that. But also on the other hand of, you know, the chats being opened up, and it seems like, you know, the moderators are now moving forwards and making some changes in the Sinder Discord in general, which obviously I don't think is anything to be alarmed about in terms of a Sinder return. They haven't really mentioned anything to do with that, so I don't think it is fair to be saying that, you know, oh, she's going to return because of this. Again, they seem to be very out of the loop whenever it comes to this kind of stuff at the moment, the moderators, I mean. So it seems like, yeah, we won't be getting an update about that very, very soon. But again, you know, it's fine. You know, I think honestly how the chats are at the moment and them having a space to talk is the most important thing right now. And yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date if there is any news coming from that. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kazza, get 10% off again. They got a ton of really cool stuff over there. And also, yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this, because again, it's a very interesting situation. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.